My dear student, so today I will going to discuss about the integrated circuit. So before going to the matter, I had already discussed all about the invention of various of your semiconductor components in the field of electronics, and basically I have already discussed the diode. And in the case of a diode, you will see there are various of applications, but the main application of a diode is converting AC voltage into DC voltage, and it is a type of semiconductor. And the latest version of the your semiconductor, that is ICs, whose full form is integrated circuit. So I kept five number of outlines, that means the contents, introduction on ICs, discrete versus ICs, discrete circuit versus ICs, drawbacks of a discrete circuits, advantages and disadvantages, and lastly the classifications or type, or you may understand by kind. Okay, my student? Okay. So now I am going to the some story which you must have all about the integrated circuit or IC. That means it is introduction part. So IC is why in which resistor, capacitor, diode, transistor and other active, passive and active components integrated in a small semiconducting chip, that is such that they become automatically part of the chip. And lastly, the size of the chip is quite smaller than even 2 product 0.1 mm, that means the millimeter. So in the IC you will find number of passive components and active components. What are they? Like resistor, like capacitor, like diodes, transistors, and similarly other components like passive, which we may call it as the inductor, which is called as coil, or your choke. Next, your transformer you can also use for the development, for the manufacture of IC. Similarly, other active components can be used, which are being integrated in a small semiconductor chip. So here, semiconductor chip, I had already explained that semiconductor in the you will find two in types, or semiconductor materials is two in types, that is silicon and germanium. And in the most of the cases, silicon semiconductor material are used. Here, the semiconductor chip is made by silicon, so that they become automatically part of the chip, because the variety of components are integrated inside or internally in the IC. That is why among each component they have the proper cooperation. That means they are properly joined with each other. So it is so said as they are automatically part of the chip, and its smile is small, even less than its amount is your 2 multiplication into 2 multiplication into 0.1 millimeter. So this is all about the introduction part of ICs, which means the integrated circuit. Its full form is integrated circuit, and you will see it is a vital, very vital components so invented in the field of electronics. Okay, my student? Okay, any question? Okay. Next, come to the next slide, that is the difference in between a discrete circuit and a integrated circuit. I have written discrete versus ICs. discrete circuit and ICs. So far, we have come across discrete circuit in which components are joined together by wires or plated on a PCB, where each components is discrete that they means distinct or separate from each other components. Okay? The ICs are a lead towards miniaturization of devices. We must note that a small chip, I have already explained you, I have already told you that is 2 into 2 into 0.1 millimeter may contain thousands of components. For fabrication of such large number of components in a small chip, special techniques are used. It means what? You have seen on the PCB. That means its full form is printed circuit board. Various of components can be wired, can be soldered, and it is seen in the case of discrete circuit. Okay, okay. That means the variants of a discrete circuit such as the resistor, capacitor, inductor, transformer, etc. can be used and can be installed with the help of a soldering process on the PCB. So that is why it is so said as it can be or it is the discrete circuit is being separated from each other. But in the case of ICs, the ICs are linked towards miniaturization of devices. You must know that a small chip of a amount of 2 into 2 into 2 into 0.1 millimeter may contain thousands of components. That means thousands of resistor, thousands of capacitor, thousands of diodes, thousands of your transistor, and etc. etc. For fabrication of such large number of components in a small chip, you can use special techniques are used. In the student, in the PN, your phenomenon I had already discussed about how the PN junction can be manufactured by using the number of techniques, by using the number of your methods. I have already told you, like your fuse junction, ground junction. These are the methods. So here also for the fabrication or manufacturing of your ICs, your special techniques are used. Okay? Okay, any question, my student? No. If you have any doubt, you may ask me. Okay, it's all right. Okay, next I am going to the next your slide, that is the drawbacks of a DC circuit. Why you are nowadays, why you are eliminating or not using the discrete circuit in comparison to ICs? What are the drawbacks or disadvantages? The discrete circuits have a following drawbacks. What? First one, they occupy large space because you can find it in bigger size. So naturally it will occupy more space, large space. So it is so said as they occupy large space. Next point, they have a poor reliability due to soldering joints. Reliability means it's in the general English term, its meaning is longevity. So reliability means longevity. Its longevity is poor or less. It's why? Because there are your manual connection by using the soldering iron of a discrete circuit on the PCB. So it is so said as they have poor reliability due to soldering joints or soldering process. Clear? Okay? Okay. Next come to they become rocky when inductors and transformers are used. Rocky means what you call it, its original meaning is heavy. So you have known that I have the use of the inductor or coil and the transformer in the discrete circuit, but in the external. So by using this your components, due to the heavy weight, the you will find its weight is heavy, bulky. So these are some of the drawbacks or disadvantages or demerits of your discrete circuit. Why you are not being used nowadays the discrete circuit in place of ICs. Okay. Okay. Next, I am going to the next slide. That is disadvantage of ICs. So I had already discussed about the disadvantage drawback of a discrete circuit. Okay, my student. Okay. So what are they? It is heavy in size. It occupy more space. Outerly, your connection is there by using the soldering iron. So it is heavy weight. It is bulky. But in the case of ICs also you will find so many what the so many so many advantages. What are the advantages? First advantages of IC, they have a superior reliability due to absence of a solder joints or soldering process. The components are connected with each other through special techniques. So it has a great phenomenon that you will find a good merit point of IC over your discrete circuit due to the non-soldering process. Its reliability is superior, its strength is superior, its longevity is superior in comparison to your discrete circuit. So it has been so said as they have superior reliability due to absence of soldering joints. That means soldering process. The components are connected with each other through a special technique. Already I have discussed. Okay, my student? Okay? Any doubt? Any question? Okay. Next point, they have very small size, hence need lesser space. Their weight is also very small or less. So you have seen, I have already told you, the shape and the size of the IC is so small. That is why it occupies small space or lesser space, and IC weight is minimum. Its weight is minimum. So it is an advantage of your IC over discrete circuit. Why you are using here and there mostly the IC. Next, they can be operated even in a high temperature. The IC can be operated, can be functioned. This is the advantage or merit point of a IC. Okay. Next, fourth point. They have extremely low power consumption. So for operation of the your IC in comparison to the discrete circuit, it will require low supply or low voltage or low current or low power or low electricity. So power consumption is less in case of your IC. Next, the last advantages or your merit point of IC, that is they are low cost when processed in large number at a time. The cost is low whenever you will be going to manufacture a number of or a lots of ICs. So these are some of the your advantages or merit point of IC. Why you are using mainly in the field of your electronics, the IC in comparison to discrete circuit. So my student, Understood? Okay. So next I will go to EC disadvantages or demerits. So for demerits or disadvantage of ICs or integrated circuit, first point is if any component does not work in work, the component cannot be replaced. The whole IC chip has to be thrown out. Whereas in case of a discrete circuit, a particular component can be replaced by a new one. So this is the very vital point, because in the case of your IC, though number of your passive and active components are uh, internally there in the IC, you will find in the IC. So if one component will be damaged, then what will happen? You cannot replace that component. So this is a disadvantage or demerit. But in the case of a Euro discrete circuit, you replace that component because externally that components are being connected on the PCB or printed circuit board. Okay, understood? Okay. Next, the heavy components can be fabricated within the chip. These are to be connected externally. But in the discrete circuit, however, the heavy components can solder into the board itself. So I have already told you heavy components like choke, LFC, coil, or transformer cannot be connected internally in the IC. They are used, but they are used in externally. So this is a drawback. So you can use the heavy components like transformer, like inductor inside the IC. But in the case of a discrete circuit, however, the heavy components can be soldered into the on the board itself, on the PCB itself. Okay? In doubt? Okay. Next point, maximum power for which IC can be produced is 10 watt. Whereas the discrete circuit has no such limitation. You can avail the ICs maximally which can it can enable to produce 10 watt of power maximally. But in the discrete in the case of a discrete circuit, its limitation is nothing. There are no limitation. It can produce or it can obtain more than 10 watt of power. This is a drawback or disadvantages of IC. Next point, it is difficult to achieve low noise and high voltage operation. So it is a vital point. It is an important point. You should note that in comparison to the discrete and integrated circuit, the integrated circuit cannot be used to obtain the low power noise and high voltage operation. In this case, it cannot be used. That is why it is difficult to achieve low noise and high voltage operation in the case of integrated circuit or ICs. And the last disadvantages or merit points of IC, that is value of a resistor and a capacitor are voltage dependent. So in the you have known there are various number of passive components, and very vital you have known your resistor, capacitor, which are passive components. They need voltages for its operation. That means the high voltages. But to operate the IC, I have already discussed, it requires low power operation. Low power consumption is less. So that is why it is a drawback, it is a disadvantages. What? Value of a resistor and capacitor are voltage dependent. So before going to the matter, before going to the next slide, I must tell you that in the electricity you will find the four factors. That is the what I had already told you. That is current, voltage, resistance, and power. So by using these four parameters, you can you can find out the total phenomenon electricity. Or in the electricity, you will find the four factors: current, voltage, resistance, and power. So it is a voltage. That means for the operation, your value of resistor and capacitor are voltage dependent. So these are the some of the your disadvantage or demerits point of IC or integrated circuit. Okay, my student. Any doubt? If you have any doubt, then you may ask me. I will narrate. Anybody else? No. Okay. Next, I will go to my next slide. That is classification. Classification means its type or kind. You may tell it as a kind or type or classification. All are equivalent. Classification, type, and type. Kind. So, in a general point of view, the IC is broadly classified into two classes such as a linear IC and non-linear IC. Linear IC, its other name is analog IC. Its other name is analog IC. Non-linear IC, its other name is digital IC. So ICs in broadly or in general or in common, there are two types. One is linear type IC or analog type IC, another is non-linear type IC or digital IC. So first one, the linear ICs. So what do you mean by linear IC? So this is the definition. These IC deal with linear and analog signal. So you have already known signals basically are two in types. One is the analog and one is digital. In this case, that means in the case of a linear or analog type IC, analog signal or linear signal is used. And this signal is that whose varies in direct proportion to its input. If input will be high, then output will be high. And in the other hand, it is vice versa. It means what? If input will be less, output will be less. Okay, my student? That is why it is so said as a linear signal is that which varies in direct proportion of its input. Okay? Any doubt? No? Okay. Next, I am going to my next slide. That is non-linear IC. So non-linear IC is what? These ICs deals with non-linear signal or digital signal. A non-linear signal is in which two discrete voltage level, that is 0 or 1 or low or high. Low means 0, high means 1 are used. The logical circuits are known as gate, made by both passive and active components. So in the case of a non-linear IC, you will find two your discrete voltage, that is low voltage and high voltage. That means 0 or 1. And by using these two level, your phenomenon, you will build a special type of a circuit, that is the logic circuit or logical circuit, that is gate, which can be made by using the passive and active component. Okay? Okay? Okay. If you have any doubt, then you may ask direct to me. I will try to solve your doubt. Next point. Let's see, how many types of your non-linear ICs are there? So basically, non-linear ICs are four in types. One is VLSI, second one is LSI, third one is MSI, and last one is SSI. VLSI is full form is very large scale integration, which contains 1/3 or more than 1/3 logic props, logic gates, and circuits, and components. And components. Okay. Again, I am repeating my statement. In the case of VLSI, whose full form is very large scale integration, which contains more than 1000 logic gates or components. You will find in the case of VLSI type IC or very scale integration, large scale integration type IC. Okay? Oh, in the case of LSI type IC, large scale integration, which contains 100 to 1000 more logic gates or components, you will find inside the LSI type IC or large scale integration type IC. Then third one is MSI. That means its full form is medium scale integration, and its parameter is its maximum limit is which contains 12 to 100 more logic gates or logical gates or components. You will find inside the MSI or medium scale integration type IC. Then last, that is SSI type IC or small scale integration type IC, which contains less than 12 logic gates or components. It is minimum in the case of your small scale integration type IC. So in this way, the non-linear or digital IC can be classified or can be typed by four, that is the VLSI, very large scale integration, LSI, large scale integration, MSI, medium scale integration, and SSI. That means small scale integration type IC. Okay? Okay? Okay. Next, my next slide is that is my last slide. You may understand that is also the classification type of IC or kind of IC. So it is according to the construction, how it can be designed, how it can be fabricated, how it can be manufactured. So by using this, by adding these are four in types: monolithic IC, thin film type IC, thick film type IC, and hybrid IC. So monolithic IC is what? Here the more number of passive components like resistor and capacitors are used. You will see in the case of which type of IC? Monolithic IC. And it is according to the construction, how it can be manufactured in the manufacturing unit. Next come to thin film type IC. So thin film type IC is what? Now here it can use a non-insulating material as a base, that means the substrate. Over that substrate, the number of your passive or active and active components can be installed. So it is widely used, that is thick film type ICs. Thick film type IC. So thick film type IC, here it is you can find the more number of components, large number of components are integrated inside the IC. And it also can be used widely in the field of electronics. And the last one, that is hybrid type IC. Hybrid type IC is what? Now it is nothing, it is the combination of monolithic type IC and a thin film type IC. So by the combination of monolithic type IC and thin film type IC, your hybrid IC can be made, can be manufactured, can be fabricated, can be designed. Okay, my student? Any doubt? Any doubt? Look at the chalkboard. Last day, according to the construction of IC, can be can be classified into two types, into four types, that is monolithic, thin film type, thick film type, and okay, any doubt? So in next class I will go for the next topic, and basically thank you all, my dear students.